Hi, this is Pastor John. It's Tuesday morning, March 31st, 2020. I'm back here in this series, American Dystopia. And here in South Carolina, it seems even more dystopic because, after all, the governor just made an announcement yesterday that he was going to close public access to our beaches. If it's anything like for you, for our family, it was a place to go to walk, like a walking path or trail, and it was kind of a release to get out in the outdoors and so forth. But now it's going to be even more abandoned. It's going to be less people out and about and all those things purposely. What do we do in these times of answering questions about our hope and our faith and times and fear and all this kind of stuff? Well, hear what Peter says in a familiar passage to many of us in 1 Peter 3. He says, "But even if you should suffer for righteousness' sake, you will be blessed. Have no fear of them, nor be troubled. But in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect, having a good conscience, so that when you are slandered, those who revile your good behavior in Christ may be put to shame. For it is better to suffer for doing good, if that should be God's will, than for doing evil." Now, generally, we apply this passage to persecution. Christians often will suffer persecution. We should be ready in those times to give an answer for the hope that we have in us. An apology, so to speak. That's the idea of the answer or a defense, is the idea to apologize. This is a traditional thing, not to feel bad about something you've done wrong, but to give a defense for something. And so we defend the faith in that sense. Well, in our context, it's a little different. We may not yet be persecuted, although perhaps that might come in the future. But right now, we are going through some difficult experiences. We should be ready. We should be ready in two ways. First of all, we should be ready to defend our faith. That is, we're ready to face death. If we were to get to the disease or face death with our family, with someone with the disease, we're ready in that time to give hope, our hope in Jesus Christ. And we can do that with our friends, our neighbors, our acquaintances. But the other thing this prepares us for is action. You see, it says it's better to suffer for doing good, if that's God's will. It may be that you're called to help somebody. I'm sitting here in the nursery. The nursery would not be my place to serve in a church. I don't like changing diapers and doing those things, but if I was called to do those things, then God would help me through it, and I would be ready to help. But let me tell you, we may be called to come alongside someone who has this disease and risk our lives. I want you to know, if that were the case, someone in our flock were to get that disease and would need help, I would be there. I would hope I would be there for a neighbor, or for a relative, or for others around me, perhaps even a stranger if I knew that they needed help. You should be ready for action. So we should be ready in these two ways, prepared to tell others of the hope that we have in the face of death. On the other hand, we should be ready to help, to act, even if it means we're suffering for the sake of Christ. Don't do it foolishly, but do it for the sake of the Lord.